This is the all-new 2024 Mercedes-Benz E 450 4MATIC, and of course, it is the 6th generation of the Mercedes E-Class. That means that under the sleek-looking body, you get a mild hybrid 3-liter inline 6-cylinder engine that, with the help of a turbocharger, makes 375 horsepower and 369 pound-feet of torque. It's made it to a 9-speed automatic transmission, and of course, 4MATIC means it's all-wheel drive. Pedal to the metal, 0 to 100 kilometers an hour comes in exactly 5 seconds. 0 to 60 miles per hour came in 4.7 seconds. The reverse procedure takes 38 meters as the beefy front 4-piston brake calipers convert all the kinetic energy to heat, showcasing a strong and firm pedal at the same time. So in a nutshell, the brakes are really good. Performance is also really great. It has plenty of power on tap. The mild hybrid system works really well, and the programming of the whole thing is excellent, with the car responding immediately to throttle inputs. It is all really well sorted. I mean, even in full comfort mode, the moment you step on the gas, it's like an immediate pickup, and I didn't even kick down. Kick down is giddy up. I mean, the engine is fantastic, pulling power is great, performance is awesome. I couldn't ask for anything more. It's also really quiet, which matches the overall style and attitude of the E-Class. And the best part is the fuel economy. I mean, the trip computer was already reporting really good fuel economy numbers, and I'm like, that's impossible. I'm gonna go and measure it at the pump. And at the pump, based on the kilometers that I drove and the liters that I refilled, well, you know what? Instead of 8.7 liters per 100, it was actually doing 8.4 liters per 100. That's exactly similar to a RAV4 hybrid. Like, that's pretty damn good. That's fantastic. It is premium gas, but I don't care. That's not a lot at all. That's like 30% less than what I was expecting. Bravo, Mercedes. Good stuff. Speaking of Mercedes, hey Mercedes, what do you think of BMW?
Good friends from Bavaria.
Hey Mercedes, what do you think of The exterior design is a slight update compared to the outgoing model. It feels more like a facelift, but this is an actual all-new car. It's a brand new model, new generation, and it's quite compact from the outside as it's under 5 meters long. The rear taillights have the Mercedes star logo inside. The front headlights are extremely good. I mean, they produce an amazing ray of light at night, and they can, on demand, create little dark spots so that they don't bother oncoming traffic, which is incredibly cool. The wheels are massive. They're 21-inch, and you can feel their size when you drive. As with their size alone, they make some potholes non-existent, as they just don't fit to fall inside. They go over. It's amazing. The interior is also updated and improved in terms of fit and finish, so there's a lot less creaking and cracking. It's not completely gone, but it's like 95% better than what it was, and I really do like the design during the day. The hyperscreen layout looks amazing and it attracts a lot of attention. The third screen on the passenger side has a more practical reason to exist, if you ask me, because my wife always wants to change settings while I'm navigating on CarPlay, and when she leaves that screen, it's always really annoying me. But with this screen here, she can do whatever she wants without touching my CarPlay, which is amazing. The front seats are quite comfortable. They have this top-to-bottom stitch, which looks like a World War II design. They're not as good as the ones you get in the BMW 5 Series, but they're almost as good. Roominess up front here is really nice. You have the wireless charger over here. You have a vocal reminder not to forget your phone every time you get out of the car. You have cup holders here. You have more USB ports under here. And that brings me to a really nice point I want to tell you today. So if I'm using the wireless charger and my passenger wants to use the USB-C charger for her phone, look at this cable. This is one of my favorite little devices. It's like a regular charging cable, and it's really high quality. It's an amazing cable. I love it. I'll put a link in the description so you can buy one for yourself. But look what happens with this cable. It's a magnetic cable, and it's so easy to like tuck it away. Like, look how nice and tidy this is. No more tangled cables, nothing. It's such a nice cable, and you go, whoop, you charge whatever you want, and then crack, it's all put together again. Look at this. One of my favorite gadgets. Anyway, back to the car. Visibility all around is awesome. The camera systems are great. I have no complaints. Driving this car is actually really easy. All the technology is very easy to figure out and operate. Of course, there's wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. It integrates really well with the rest of the car also, so you see notifications in the instrument cluster and the heads-up display, like when you're navigating. The rear passengers also get heated seats, they get curtains, USB ports, adequate room for their heads and their knees, but marginal room for their feet under the seats. 3 passengers, however, will fit with no problems. They just won't be as lucky as the ones in the front, because the ones in the front also get ventilated seats on top of heated. The rear are heated also, but the front also get massaging seats, which is really nice. The trunk lid is powered. The capacity reported is only 360 liters, which I find odd because this looks more like a 500 liter trunk. Not bad at all. It also has a hook that comes down. I like the trunk, big enough, all good there. I mentioned earlier that I really like the interior during the day, and that's because during the night, it kind of feels like a big disco ball and a pole is kind of missing, because this feels like the VIP section of your local titty bar. I mean, honestly, the lighting in here is intense, and it's kind of like, I don't know, I feel uncomfortable because when I unlock the car at night, everything lights up inside, and if there are people around, they're like, dude, what's happening with your car? I mean, a lot of people, especially the younger audience, they really love this light up stuff, and to be honest, I also really like it. I just find it a bit funny, and I don't know. On one side, I'm see, I'm giggling. It's funny, it's nice, it's cool, especially like the purple colors that I like. But on the other hand, honestly, there have been a couple of occasions where I'm like, oh man, I didn't want these people to see these lights in here. Now they're looking at me funny. So it's make sure you're okay with it, because honestly, it's a cool feature, but it can be a little bit embarrassing sometimes. And of course, needless to say, almost every Mercedes on sale today is like this inside. Anyway, let's move on. On the road now, given the great performance, the ride quality is extremely smooth. This thing just rolls with elegance. A few bumps might upset the car a little bit and the passengers, but overall, it is a very comfortable and plush ride. I do recommend you upgrade the suspension to the 4MATIC suspension, because you also get the 4-wheel steering with that package. But still, even without it, it's not the end of the world. I actually have no problems. I'm just a little bit upset that in individual mode I can't customize the dampers, but that's purely psychological. The handling, I have to confess, is very impressive. It doesn't really tell you, like it doesn't hint to you that it actually will handle that well. But honestly, around corners, this thing is solid. And when I say solid, I mean solid to the degree that I actually started exploring some like potential spirited driving in an E-Class, which normally, unless it's a E63 or a 53, so if there's no AMG badge on it, usually it's kind of like not its thing. But I can tell you that even from slow speed cornering, you're hinted that, ooh, this thing probably turns quite well. And then a corner comes around and you're like, you know what? Let me see what this thing can do. And oh my god, the grip limits are insane. The 4MATIC system does a really good job distributing torque, and it does torque vectoring. You can feel all that stuff, but the result is just a car that turns. You just turn the wheel and it's like whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Love the handling in this car. Really safe, really sure-footed. I have zero complaints. I'm actually really positively surprised with the handling, the feeling of the brakes, the feeling of the steering, the support of the seat. Everything oddly works quite well in this E-Class. The specs on this car mention dynamic dampers, but I don't feel any difference between sport and comfort, and honestly, through individual mode, you don't see any changes, so I doubt they're correct. It's probably a press release error, but whatever. As I said, the car remains flat, grip limits are great, comfort is good, so overall, it's a really well-balanced vehicle. It handles way better than it needs to, seriously, since most of these are going to be spending their life either on the highway or the parking lot of old age homes, maybe. Nah, I'm just kidding. I'm happy to report that this thing feels really youthful. It's light on its feet. It has a very welcoming character. It will even entertain your adrenaline rushes. It will serve you with no issues. I like that about it. There are no exhaust pipes in the back. Look at this. They're below. The bumper has fake outlets, which is kind of weird. But anyway, there's no real exhaust soundtrack. The motor sounds quite nice, but from the outside, it's very quiet. So, I guess that's why they did it. Now the sound system, even though it's a very good Burmster sound system, the default settings are really crappy. So this thing, out of the box, sounds like shit. But it has a really useful guide that once you follow and you set your preferences, it creates a sound profile, and then the sound system sounds amazing. So don't get disappointed if the sound system sounds like shit. Just do the guide and then you're gonna love it. Now, the price to pay for all this is a bit steep. At least in Canadian dollars, it feels that way. Prices in Canada for the E450 4MATIC start at $83,900. This one, as tested here, is $97,350. That is quite a lot of money. In the US, prices start at $70,850, which is exactly what I was hoping that it would be also in Canada, but whatever. Overall score is 8.7 out of 10. Compared to its top 5 rivals, I would pick it over a BMW 5 Series for its looks and for the 6-cylinder gas engine, which currently is not available in the 5 Series in Canada. If you want similar power, you have to go to an i5 electric for a BMW. I would pick this one over an Audi A6 for every possible other reason. I would consider a Cadillac CT5 for a sportier drive. I would consider a Lexus ES or even an LS for reliability. And I would consider a Genesis G80 or even G90 for better value. So that's all for today with this very impressive E450 4MATIC 2024. I like it a lot. It even has a little camera up there for little selfies and videos, integrated dash cameras. This thing is, it's trying to appeal to a broader audience, and I think it will. Anyway, subscribe, like this video. Till next time, be well. See you. Bye-bye. Perfect.